We're rolling.
Rolling, rolling, rolling. Hello, and welcome to Wednesday's video. Actually on Wednesday. See you later, John.
See you tomorrow, John.
John's off. It's 2 minutes to 5. Got to beat the traffic.
Yep.
We're still working, mate, because we are dedicated. So at the moment, I've got the V8. This is an aluminium V8, 3.5. This one.
Oh, probably Rover, innit?
Can't remember. Customer's been and bought his own Darton sleeve liners.
Very nice.
Nice. So they'll do a kit, 8 of these to go in the Rovers. So these are a top hat liner, a bit like I use from Westwood.
Quite a chunky liner, isn't it?
I think that's an O-ring groove there. They stick an O-ring on the bottom, maybe. And I am boring this block out, mate. This has got a damaged liner. He wants a full set of liners because they are sort of renowned for slipping. Anyway, I don't know what this is. I don't know if it is a 3.5. Just goes to show, doesn't it? But I'm machining this out very accurately. It's quite a time-consuming job doing these.
I was going to say, that's been on... When did we put that on?
Been on for a day and a half.
Yeah.
Quite a lot of meat to come out of them.
And you've been doing it pretty consistently. You know, every time I've looked, I'm like, oh, it's only 3 bores in.
And I'm nearly halfway through it. Unbelievable. But at least I can get on with things in between.
Yeah,
so it's not all...
Let it go.
Not all disastrous. But what I'm doing here, mate, I'm just doing on this 4th bore, before we turn the block round, I'm just cutting the groove at the top for the flange on the liner. So what I do is I just touch the tool on top of the block and make sure we are zeroed here on the clock. So I put a clock on the ram, fairly crude idea.
So this all stays stationary, and then
that will stay
as
stationary.
that comes down, you get your reading on the clock.
Exactly. So this bit here is attached to what would be the tool. So that all moves. It's 200 thou deep.
Yeah.
So I'm just going sort of about 160 thou, something like that.
Okay.
It's not. You don't have to be too accurate with it because obviously we want them protruding a little bit, so then we can face it.
Yeah.
So I just touch it on there, mate. Just engage it. And then I just watch me gauge until it gets round to about there and then turn it off.
Nice.
Oh, and then we go reverse, wind it up. And I can do, because it's aluminium, I can do 50 thou cuts without it causing any grief.
Nice.
And that is it really, another 50 here. So
that's how you set the tool up then?
So we set the tool on this preset tool jig.
A micrometer thingy.
So what I tend to do, so with this it's going to be 4.1 I want to set it to, so I normally go a thou over that, slacken the tool, tighten it up, and then you'll find that closes up to thou. Once you've tightened it, you just double check that.
And you're up.
That's it. And this, basically this thing, I've got it set, I've got that thing set, so when you set it, it leaves about 3 thou in.
Okay.
To what you set it to.
So if you say you were boring something, you set it to size, and then you've got your 3 thou left.
Yeah, so it's handy for liners because I can set it on exactly what the liner measures, and I know it leaves 3 thou in for your interference.
Nice.
So
clever.
Very clever, mate, eh? Very clever. I'll just quickly finish this. One revolution of that is 100 thou. That's it.
Lovely.
So we've got one more cut to do on there. But what we've got going on in Europe, mate. Lotus, you've been cracking right on with the Lotus Twincam. We've had the go-ahead off the customer today.
Yes, we have.
Good thing about the Lotuses is from places like Burton, who do the Fords and Lotuses and Crossflows and all that jazz, they do a lot of the bits for these, don't they? Including all the little finicky bits like the nuts,
Lotus
bolts,
stuff,
washers.
Yeah.
So you just, I mean, they're pence. It ain't worth cleaning them up, is it?
No.
So you just
Well,
go
and
to
a lot
them.
of them are chewed up anyway from the various different rebuilds
They
they've
are
had, and-
several, probably 40, 50 years of
Yeah.
people hitting it with chisels and hammers and stuff.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
all little bits like that, we've just priced up, give the customer the sort of, I do it in 2 bits. So I do a price, an estimate for all the parts.
Yeah.
And then I'll do the labour and machining and that separate. He's give us the
Makes
go-ahead,
it
happy with
simple,
that.
yeah.
So I've sent him the invoice for the parts, get paid for those first. Order all the bits. Block is at standard on the bore, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. They're a bit glazed up, and I think we've sort of decided we're going to go out to 20, haven't we?
Yeah, we'll go out to 20 on that. There's no lip at the top, so it should clean lovely. I shall probably bore it before I order the pistons anyway.
Yeah.
You can bet your bottom dollar if you bloody order the pistons, it's probably won't clean on one. You faced the block, didn't take much to clean it
No,
up,
it didn't
did
actually. It was all black and horrible, so
Yeah.
I thought it was going to be a bad one, but cleaned in sort of 4 thou,
Yeah.
5 thou.
So it's nice, really. That mucky Lotus that's been sitting there, we are cracking on with it.
Yeah.
I've gone for a few trick bits. So we've got the camshafts. Have a look at the cams, look. Bit pitted and corroded on the
Yeah.
base circle there.
Oh,
Bit
yeah.
nasty. So we've
the
gone
best.
for a pair of Newman fast road cams.
Nice.
We've got some Amiga forged pistons going in, slightly higher compression. Trick head gasket.
Yep.
ARP head stud and nut kit.
Oh, you went for the stud and nut kit.
Nut
Nice.
kit.
Like the rod bolts, you go ALP on them, or
No, we've gone
original? Are those?
well, we've gone
New original.
a new original, but I think they're just a tougher one, aren't they?
Yeah, probably.
Whatever. They're
But
pretty,
they're pretty
good
good
anyway.
anyway. Yeah.
You've sized the rods up.
I have sized the rods.
Bit
They're,
tight, weren't they?
Yeah, they'd gone a bit oval, really.
Oh,
They were
okay.
sort of bit tight in places, but yeah, so I honed them out and didn't take much.
Nice.
They're sorted.
Customers bought things like a new front cover, innit? New
Yes,
front
he has, yeah.
chain
It's in that
cover.
cupboard
in
down
here.
there, if you want to.
Very nice.
Have a look.
So all bits like this.
In the yellow box. Oh,
Oh,
boxed
is
it
it?
all back up.
Boxed it all back up. But the rocker covers there, blasted. We'll do that in the nice red.
Yep.
Machine over the
Lotus.
Lotus.
Badge. Make it look nice.
Make it look all a bit groovy, mate.
Yeah.
So yeah, happy we're getting on with that. We've got the go ahead.
Yeah.
Cosworth, that's the 500, which I'm going to be getting on with next.
Yeah.
This one here came in yesterday, this Cosy. So this is a 4-wheel drive engine with a 200 block.
Lovely.
It's going to be going in a 2-wheel drive converted Escort Cosworth. So we're going to put 2-wheel drive stuff on it, like the sump. It's got a big wing sump down there. Obviously
yeah.
got to clean everything up. This engine actually, the customer, I think he'd put a belt on it and was going to run it. It was bought it. I'm not sure what he was going to put it in, but he was going to run it like it. Decided not to in the end. And down here, look, you can see it wouldn't have lasted 2 minutes, mate.
Ooh.
We've got a little bit of a mishap going on there.
Bit of meltiness
Bit
there.
of meltiness, and I suspect if you have a look around this area here, mate, what we're looking for on the gasket line is a nice clean line
Sort of
like this.
Like this, really.
Like that.
That's perfect around there, isn't it?
Yeah, but this bit here, it's been blowing like a bugger.
Yeah.
And round here, so I suspect this has probably been leaking in water, done
Yep.
a gasket, and that's caused the piston to melt. But it doesn't matter because we're going to be putting liners in it.
Right. This one's going to be pretty
This is going to
tricky,
have
isn't
trick pistons, long rod setup,
it? Nice.
new crankshaft, trick bearings, ported head, bigger cams, solid lifter conversion. Thank you very much.
That's literally all of it.
Yes, it is.
Everything you can do.
Everything you can do. It's going to be all nice and funky.
Yeah.
So yeah, looking forward. But the reason I've got in amongst this is because I've got the head off. I want to get the head off today. Where the V8 block that we've got on the boring bar there, we've got to sort the pistons and rods out as in balance them and send the crank assembly off to CTM.
Yeah.
Because they balance the V8s. That's the only thing we can't balance. But at the same time, I want to get that cylinder head in the box with it and get that ported.
Fair play.
So Charlie always does me a good deal on the old porting, and they're very, very good at it. So
They are.
we got enough on, haven't we?
Yeah.
So I'll get him to port that head, mate. I've ordered the cams and the solid lifters and blah-de-blah, bits and bobs.
Lovely.
So that's that. Honda. Got the crankshaft in. Thank you very much for balancing that, mate.
That's all right. No worries.
So this one is, we've got the decent trick pistons and the H-section rods.
Osners, yeah.
I-beam rods.
Yes.
Bit better than the H-section.
Look cool, they do.
Do look cool. Very strong. Got the decent crank bearings. Got the motorsport bearings in it. So obviously I just want to check the running clearance. So we've got obviously ARP 2000 rod bolts in these rods. We've got a little chart here giving, obviously they do 2 different sizes. Got 3/8 and 5/16. So the 3/8 is the thread. So we measure the thread, see what it is. That's 3/8.
Yeah.
And the torque normally goes on the actual length of the bolt as well. So from the end there to underneath the washer is 1.5 inches. So you can see, if you didn't have this sheet, if you go on the ARP website, they'll have all the sizes.
They're very good, aren't they?
Yeah. So they give you either a stretch figure here or a torque setting. So we normally go off the torque setting. We've got 55 foot-pounds. So I've done this one up, mate, with some plastic gauge. Obviously these torque settings, it's important to use the ARP
assembly lube
on them, because that does make a difference.
Yeah.
We've torqued that up and plastic gauged it. You can see the plastic gauge is stuck to the bearing there.
Lovely.
And if I measure that, bear in mind we have got pretty much a 1.9 journal diameter there. If we go here, look, mate, exactly 2
thou, perfect.
2 thou on a 1.9. That's ain't far wrong, is it?
No.
So I'm very happy with that.
Spot on, that is, isn't it?
We'll get that plastic gauge off there and get that all lubed up, torqued up, and then we've got to do the mains, make sure they're all right, and then get in there. We just do the cylinder head.
Yeah, we're not building it, are we? Just bottom end. And
no, just crank the rods
head.
and that in. Obviously, that's a new crank, that, because the old crank had a bit of a whoopsie on the big end, didn't it?
Yep. Bendy job.
We have got in the pipeline, mate. We've got another couple of cozies out there, haven't we?
Yep.
To do some work on.
Yeah.
We've got, obviously, this is my next one here. We've got this one to do. We've got one waiting, which this is about the first time ever that I've sort of got people waiting and almost booked in, really.
Yeah.
We've got the Subaru engine that's going to be all singing, all dancing.
Lovely.
That's your puppy.
Very excited about that.
I'm sure you are, because you are the resident specialist. We've got the V6 Cosworth, twin turboed.
That's going to be cool.
We've got to go through.
That'd be interesting, that one.
It would be. I've never got involved with bottom end on one of them. Never used to see them. People didn't bother because they weren't really worth anything.
No.
We've got another Lotus. I booked up yesterday. He rang up. I booked him in for probably 3 weeks. I said 2 to 3 weeks, but I'm going to bring him. We have got
that Z-Tech we can crack on with now.
The Z-Tech.
Spoke to the customer today.
You've dealt with the customer, mate. He's emailed over the go-ahead and what we want. Yeah. So with this, we're not going for a ported head, but he wants the PH2 cams from Newman.
Yep, he does.
Solid lifter anyway.
He wants some
vernier pulleys.
Yeah, vernier pulleys, rod bolts, like ARP rod bolts. Some
trick bearings.
Yeah, just sort of,
So you've deglazed this bore, mate. You see, you've got the nice, perfect cross hatching on there.
Yeah.
Give it a very light lick over, but the reason that looks so good is because this is a pretty new motor,
it was mint anyway.
Yeah,
it had done 6,000 miles from new because it's one of the old crate engine Z-Techs, isn't it?
Okay.
So it weren't too bad, but the reason it came in was because he had dropped a washer, a washer had come loose.
He put in his email.
Yeah, he said
saying the video to people to keep their eye out. So what had happened?
So it was on his throttle bodies, on like the trumpets.
Yeah.
One of the nuts had rattled loose.
Right.
And then the washer from underneath it somehow managed to get into the trumpet and.
Oh really?
And it's ingested it.
Nice.
Danced about on top of the piston.
Fortunately, it didn't do any damage to the ball, but it could have been a catastrophe.
And to be honest, which one was it? That's the damage.
Oh yeah, it didn't hardly do anything.
No.
It sort of peppered the outside of the head
Yeah, but
it hasn't gone
I
as far
literally
as the
gave
gasket
it
light.
3 thou cut today on the mill, and it's virtually all gone.
Ah,
so
perfect. So he's got away with that
yeah.
lightly.
So I'll have a little
If
refresh.
you can call an engine builder lightly, but
Yeah.
as far as damage goes, it didn't do a great deal of damage, which is
No,
good.
but keep an eye on your nuts around your throttle bodies.
Get a bit of thread lock on there, or
Yeah,
make sure that
something.
you do a bit of a nut and bolt check
Or a little
on those.
spring washer
Probably a
or
good
something.
idea, isn't it? Spring washer, like you say. Got the old.
Yeah, he's got the retro Ford sump and pickup kit and all that.
Nice.
So yeah, he's got a nice little engine, really.
Yeah.
Do like these.
I've got a feeling that we've got another Z-Tech waiting to come in. Someone's rang up about one of them. I think so.
Nice.
Inundated with engines, mate.
Yeah.
Got to be something to do with this YouTube channel, I would say.
Probably.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
But so yeah, getting the engines, and we're getting through them slowly. What else? What else we got here? I see John's been cracking on with the old Perkins there.
Yeah. Yeah, so he's got the crank in. I don't know if he's got the caps on yet or anything, but
No.
thought I'd let him get on with that one.
Nice. So this is the cylinder head off the Cosworth out there that I've got to send off to Charlie. This is
Yeah.
4-wheel drive, good head, but you can see there, look, where you... I mean, usually when people
blowing.
bring cylinder heads in and say, I can't see where it's been blowing, can you pressure test it? We can pressure test it for you, but...
They like to show us the gasket, don't they?
You can't see bugger all on a gasket.
Unless there's a big chunk missing. It's sort
exactly,
of
yeah. So what we tend to look for is this clear line here is what you're looking for.
You
that
want
means
that.
It's been sealing.
That's good.
But this is definitely what you don't want to be seeing.
Darkness.
When you've got a little bit of darkness here, that can be where the gasket sits. But here, see where the...
Like in between the lines almost.
Yeah, and where it's sort of... You've got the burn that sort of goes over the top like this. That means the gasket's started to blow. Same here. So it's starting to blow all over there. But I suspect what probably this is the head's been faced. Maybe the block... It's probably blew a gasket and they haven't faced the block, I would say. So, doesn't matter, mate. It's all going to be done.
Yeah.
That is that. We're going to leave it there, aren't we?
I think so.
Until Friday's video. Thank you very much for watching, guys. Hope you have a lovely evening. We'll see you then.